Hey everyone, Tree here. About 2 years ago, I did a Twitch stream series that covered the development of a card game over the course of about 3 months. Since then, I've decided to pick it back up and expand upon where we left off. A lot of improvement has been made, and I'd like to show you where we stand currently. First thing we're going to do is just start up the game here. So here's the game, and the first thing you'll see is that we have a login screen, which is be a surprise to anyone who watched it before because it was a single-player game at that point. However, since then, we've expanded to be a multiplayer game, and it's a multiplayer game that's authenticated and all centralized through a single server. So there's no hacking, no cheating, anything. You can't edit any memory values on the client to get any advantage edge or anything like that. It's a pretty legit setup. So we're going to go ahead and log in here. We went ahead and authenticated. So everything that is now in my inventory, the cards that I own, are all tied to my account, so no one else can get access to them. It's all nice and secure. We're going to go ahead and continue because we already started a game world. And the first thing that we have to do here is we have to select a area in which we're going to do a card battle in. We're going to just go ahead and select this one right here. It's got some randomized values that just make adjustments to the play area. Really, what we see here is that a lot of the starting stats are going to be modified at the beginning with this one. We're going to go ahead and select that one. We'll see we have some decks here, just some decks that I've been messing with. You see some debugging, deck name change, and stuff like that I was testing. We're just going to go ahead and select this Judicator one. It's not a full deck, but it's got cards that at least synergize well together. But after we select that, we go ahead and we have to find out who our enemy is going to be. Now, our enemy is actually not going to be a player. Even though it's a multiplayer game, the way that it works is very passively, is that you will build decks that will get sent off to other people's clients, and they will have to play them. The playstyle is very similar to what the game was like before, but definitely some changes since then. So we're going to go ahead and spin and see who we're going to get here as an enemy. Looks like we've got a Maz as an enemy. Also, typo. Need to remove that extra Z there, just haven't done so yet. This should, once there's more player decks into the roster, this will generate with some information the win rate of the decks, certain cards that they have and the traits that they have, and just a brief description given by the player. We'll go ahead and start here. And our deck's created. So just like before, we get to start with 5 cards of our own in our hand. However, the rest of the deck is now a mixture of our cards and the cards determined by the enemy player. So we don't know if we're going to get one of our cards when we draw, if we're going to get one of the enemy cards while we draw. Now, one of the unfortunate things is that the card game isn't too balanced right now. A lot of it's still just kind of debugging, but a lot of the features are in effect. So we can draw, we can play cards. We have cards that do specific effects. This card right here will give us an extra draw each turn. And there's a little combat phase happening right there. Not too much happening because this guy doesn't really do any damage. We got some more card draws. You can see, hey, look at this. We get another draw there. We get an Innocence, a nice little buff that gives us 8 order. However, if a card dies, we lose 10 order. You can see there's some proc events, stuff that happens throughout the match, and stuff like that. That was an enemy card. We can tell by its red name, and also the fact that it got played right away. Just like before, whenever you draw an enemy card, it's forced to get played, and there's really nothing else you can do about it, unless you got a cancel, or a counter, or any of the cards that do similar things. We're going to keep going ahead, and we're not going to spend too much time in here. We're going to take a look at some other features, but let's at least get something that can do some combat on the board. Might take a bit. A lot of these starting decks are very passive. I wanted to make a lot of robust abilities that were more creative than just direct dealing damage. But just like before, we have our stats at the top. If any of the stats reach 100, we win, and if any of them reach 0, we lose. And us losing will give a victory to the enemy player. Some more generic cards here. We'll get to see a proc event from Sinkholes over here. It might kill itself, or it might kill another card. It didn't kill itself. It got enlistment. So we lose a draw. There. Oh. Well, we would have had a card that we could have dealt some damage with. Unfortunately, our hand's full, so it went to our discard. We're going to go ahead and just get rid of some of these dummy cards we have here. But one thing is also remained the same, is that we're still fully 3D. As you can see, The entire player board is in 3D. We rotate around. We can see everything. We even have our menus for our little slide menu for exiting the game if we want to. We got our accept and approve buttons hidden above our camera. A nice little message bar that's also hidden above our camera. But everything aside from that, fully 3D. Alright, we'll do 2 more draws and see if we can get a card here. But if not, just for brevity, we'll go ahead and take a look at some other features after that. Got more card effects. Sinkhole killed another card. Got an Agent of Tyke. Interesting card. It's a card that infiltrates, so you know the Agent of Tyke. These are red names, so they're enemy cards, but they're in our player area. The reason why is because they have the keyword infiltrate, which means they actually enter in under the incorrect zone. They go under the player's zone. Or if you play an infiltrate card, it'll go under the enemy zone. Alright, we'll do one more draw after this. Series of draws, and we'll see if we can get something that will deal damage. Unfortunately, Sinkholes killed all of our enlistments, so we lost all of our draws. Oh well. We'll go ahead and just go through this, and then we'll go ahead and restart the client, and we will take a look at some of the features that we have built around our cards and how we get those cards into the game. And over the course of the week, I'll be releasing videos, probably every other day, that just showcases the code. We'll actually go into the code, we'll go into the blueprints, we'll see actually how I built this. So this isn't really just, this is more just a brief showcase of just where we're at today. So this is our library menu. We can do things such as create a new deck, we can view our previous decks, we can do some crafting, we can do some churn-ins to get some rewards, and we can also hire mercenaries. Now mercenaries is a system in which we build decks, send them out into other players' game worlds, and they do battle, and we get rewards based off their performance. But we'll go ahead and take a look at our decks. You'll see these are the decks that we were showing earlier when we were starting that match. Here's just an empty deck. Actually, we'll go ahead. We'll take a look at this empty deck that's appropriately named. And we're going to add some cards to it. So right here is just the current cards that I own on this account. We can have up to 3 copies of a card in a deck. So we're going to go ahead and just select some stuff here. Oh, input got eaten there. We're just going to go ahead and just add some of these cards into our deck. And you can see they're automatically generating in this drop-down list here. And we're not giving too much concern about it. We're just adding cards. Now there are some requirements for cards. Mercenaries, every single mercenary has a requirement depending on which mercenary you choose. But for your main deck, the deck that you'll actually be playing against other players' decks, you will need at least 60 cards, 30 of which need to be part of the exact same faction. However, I have that turned off right now. Those checks are disabled just so we can do some testing. So this is about good. We'll go ahead and save it. See that our deck's saved, which is all being validated through our server. And we're going to go ahead. Oh, that was just a little message letting us know if we wanted to rejoin. Actually not in the game yet, but it gives us a message anyways. It's smart enough to detect that if there was a previous game in session, just can't reload it back in. But we can see our deck that was originally empty and had no cards in it now has some cards into it. Also, if you want to just do some test draws, you can go ahead and click this button here. Another mod. We'll go ahead and just show you that the deck, the cards that we create in our deck, they're going into our hand as expected. I went ahead and restart the client there. We're going to take a look at some other things. If we wanted to create a new deck, we can do so. Just giving it a nice random name. And ooh, had a bug there. Not exactly sure why that happened. But hey, if you watch our Twitch stream every day, you'll get to see us fix that, because that's what we've been doing over the past few days, is just doing some bug fixing. But you can see that we can create new decks. Go ahead and save that. Go into our view decks. We can select these decks. We see all the decks that we create. Crafting right now is limited. I only have one recipe that this account owns. However, there's multiple recipes. But recipes are the way that you craft items, and then once you craft those items, you turn them in. Very work in progress menu here. You turn in the items and here, and then you'll get a card. The card you get won't be guaranteed to be a specific card. You'll get a card of a specific faction or of a specific type. An example is that you could craft an item that will give you any charge card or any binary card or any card of a specific faction. However, it won't give you duplicates, unnecessary duplicates anyways, is that you can only unlock 3 of a card, and you can't unlock it any more than that. So as you unlock more cards, your pool of cards that you can actually unlock actually reduces because you're limited to 3. So there's no duplicates, there's no having to break down duplicates that you have and they're useless. Everything you get will be useful. But that pretty much covers where we're at now. I'll be uploading some more videos over the week that just go over the actual programming, the blueprint structures of that. But for the client, that's pretty much it. Our server is pretty standard. It just accepts inputs, it does validation checks, it queries the SQL database, which you can see here. This is our SQL database and our tables that we have of it. So matches, accounts, decks, specific cards, rewards, recipes, all these things are all stored within this database that's accessed through our server. And I'll go into more into details in those extra videos. But if you're interested, keep subscribing and take a look at the stream. It's same thing as here. It's Tree Makes a Game on Twitch, and I'll check you out later. Thank you for your time.